Hello everyone. So today I have with me the 2017 Range Rover Evoque, and I'd like to extend a special shout out and thanks to McGinley Motors for allowing me to take the Evoque down to Donegal to review for you guys today. So like what I done with the Volvo S90, this here is an extended review where I'm going to give you guys an idea what it's like to drive around on big open roads, country roads. Maybe we'll do a little bit of off-roading with it, and basically give you an idea of what it's like to live with on a daily basis. So, to talk you through this car, this particular one is the SE. It's the next one up from the base model Pure. Now, this car only has two options on it, two of which you can actually see from here. The Pearse grey metallic and these LED front fog lights. Now, as I said, those are the only two options on this car. This particular one costs about €55,400. The SEs do tend to be the best selling ones here in Ireland. People do add a few options onto them, like heated seats, a reversing camera. You can also choose to have it with a black roof or a panoramic roof. But as I said, this one, it's only got a few basic little options on it. So we're just going to walk around the car now and I'll talk to you about a few things. First off, it comes with these 18-inch twin 5-spoke alloy wheels with 4-wheel ventilated steel disc brakes. It also has an independent Pearse suspension with a multi-link setup in the rear. And if we come round to the rear, we can see the overall styling of the Evoque is very nice. It's a very good looking car, it's very stylish. Now, Range Rover Evoques are highly customizable. As I said, you can have the roof in a different colour to the body. You can have different sets of wheels, you can tint the windows, panoramic roof. You can even choose to have graphics along the side of the car. So they are very customizable. And if we come around to the rear, we'll just take a quick look at the boot. So I've already done a detailed in-depth review of an Evoque HSC, so we'll just go over the basics. As you can see, the boot itself is pretty big in size. Now this may be the baby Range Rover, but it does have a lot of space inside. You got a very good square boot, you got 12-volt power outlet in there. You also got these chrome anchor points here, so if you have a net and you want to fasten something to the floor, you can just attach a few things there. Now as you can see, I got some of my filming equipment in here, but even so, there's still a decent amount of space left over. If I moved a few more things over to the side here, you can free up a bit more extra room. And you can also fold down the rear seats, which I will just do now. So there's a button on the top of the back seat. And as you can see, when we fold down the rear seat, you get a good bit of extra storage space. So it doesn't go down completely flat, but in saying that, you can still slide a few large items towards the back seat area of the car if need be. So as far as room goes in the Range Rover Evoque, well, as you can see, I got the seat in my driving position. I still got a decent amount of legroom left behind as well. Headroom is excellent too in the Evoque, even though, as I said, this is the baby Range Rover. It doesn't feel particularly small. It looks small on the outside, but it's one of them cars that looks small from the outside, but actually feels bigger than it is on the inside. You also got two little storage areas there, as well as this centre-mounted armrest with two integrated cup holders, and a little storage area too. Okay, so for the interior of the Evoque, well, it's got a completely keyless start-stop system. So you got the push button located up here. The car just fires itself up. Just apply the foot brake and press it again. So this car has a 3-spoke leather-wrapped multifunction steering wheel. You got various controls here for your truck computer. You got your audio and phone controls located off to the left side here. You got cruise control off to the right, and it also has the paddle shifters. Speaking of which, you also got this 9-speed automatic gearbox, and as you can see, it's a little dial that comes out of the center console. And to put it in sport mode, just down, over. And as I said, it's a 9-speed automatic transmission, but we'll talk about that later on out in the road when I'm driving. So going over this screen here, now it's a very simple, lovely, elegant touchscreen, and it's nice to use. You got your main controls located off here, but most of these are duplicated, as you can see, in the touchscreen itself. So you got your eco data. I just pull that up there. It gives you things like your impact on fuel, driving style, and the advanced truck computer. And if we go back, you can look even at the 4x4 system, and this gives you a live update when you go through the terrain response, which is operated by these controls here. So if I just look at them, you got grass, gravel and snow, you got mud ruts and sand, and then all the way back just to turn all that off. And as I said, you get a live feed here as you're driving over different terrain. And then looking down here in the center console, it's a lovely elegant design. You got this very nice aluminium trim finish, and you also got this dial here for turning on the radio. This car also has Bluetooth. Now I currently have my phone Bluetooth to the Evoque, and as you can see, you can operate it just here. If I just press this, it tells me all about my phone, so I can dial in a number, gives me my battery life, phone signal. You got your call list, contacts, you can view your text messages, and you can even swap over phones as well. And then you got other interior features. You got hill descent and start, stop and traction control, all is standard. You can just turn off the start, stop from there. It also has the electronic parking brake. Now the good thing about this is when you put the car in park, when you stop, the electronic parking brake automatically engages. So that's a very clever idea, because I reckon a lot of people these days, even though electronic parking brakes have been around for a few years now, people can still easily forget to turn it on. So it's just handy that Land Rover thought as soon as the person puts the car in park, we'll engage the parking brake for them. And then, as I said, you got your train response down there. You also got these cup holders, a little bit of storage, and a 12-volt power outlet. And then underneath the center armrest here, there's quite a bit of storage. Now I got a few things in there, a few cables plugged in, but there's still a good bit of space. You got USB, auxiliary, and a 12-volt power outlet. And then we get to this actual interior itself. It's a lovely place to be. It's got the espresso, which is the brown up here, and the almond leather. It's a very nice color combination, probably one of the nicest color combinations you can have with the Evoque. And it's got just so many lovely little features in here standard. You got lane departure, which is operated by a couple of controls down here on the right. And even these interior lights, you don't have a button, you actually just stroke the lights to turn them on. I mean, that's a really nice touch. And you also got an auto dimming interior mirror, front and rear parking sensors, and so on as standard. So going over the car, basically it's a good looking car. It's got a lovely interior. You got automatic headlights as standard. It's a very well equipped vehicle. But as I was saying, you can throw on a ton of extra features like heated seats, and if you do get heated seats, the controls for which are located on these blank dials. You can also have satellite navigation, and you'll get an extra button located here, and the touchscreen variant will appear on this screen, so those two will be made a bit smaller, and then you'll just have the third icon. Okay, so out here in these back roads, the Evoque is really nice to drive. Going over some of these bumps, went over a steep one there, and the car absorbs the bumps and knocks very well. Very little vibration gets in here, and we're coming into a bit of a steep corner right now. We'll see about the handling. Not too bad. Another tight left-hander here. Yeah, you know, the Evoque doesn't actually roll around as much as you would expect for an SUV. It feels solid and it feels planted. It even has a bit of a sporty feel to it, actually. Okay, so we're just going to put the gearbox into sport mode and engage manual on the paddles. So let's see what this car can do. Well, gear changes are very good. Let me just gear down for this bend. So, paddle shifter gearboxes on ordinary cars like this. Now, sometimes these can be hit and miss. They can either be very good or they can be slow and sluggish, but I'm just going to run a tight bend here, changing down to third and into second for this even tighter bit. Yeah, you know what? It's a very good little gearbox. I must say, the paddle shifters are very nice to use. Feels a bit sporty actually, and also when I have the car in sport mode, when you leave it in automatic, the gear changes are very quick as well. They they speed up when they're in sport mode, and the steering wheel feels a bit heavier as well, so you certainly get a bit more kick out of it. But the power is excellent from this thing, and we're still going over bumpy roads here, and I have to say, as I was saying before, the ride quality really is very good in this car. Okay, so we're just coming out here to the bypass, and I have to say the Evoque is just an absolute joy to drive out here in these open roads. When I drove this car home last night from Letterkenny, I found it was very quiet, very smooth. The gearbox is lovely in full automatic mode, and it's just such a nice, relaxing, easy little car to drive and to live with. I mean, out here now, there's not too much exterior noise getting in. I'm just kind of sitting here in these very comfortable, lovely leather seats, and it just feels like such a nice, luxurious little SUV to drive around in. It's really, really nice. Okay, so we're just on a little off-road track here, and this gives me a good chance to engage the terrain response. So we have it on grass, gravel and snow now. So there's a lot of bumpy bits here. Ooh, yes. Okay, so we're on a little off-road track here, heading up towards the windmills. And I have to say, the ride quality, it's still decent enough, although we're going over quite a few bumpy little dips in this little track here. I have to say though, the car is still doing rather well. Some of the ride quality, or some of the ride comfort, shall I say, is actually not as good as it was earlier, but in saying that, the car is doing quite well for itself. This is the kind of terrain you take a Land Rover on. Okay, so we're still going up this little off-road track. There's not as many bumps now, but you know what? Ride quality is not too bad. Ooh, a few wee bumps coming up here. Whoa. Yeah, this Land Rover is definitely more than capable of driving out here for sure. This is a very barren area. As you can see, it's just nothing but fields out here. Well folks, we've made it up to the wind farm. It's really windy up here. The off-road track was, intense enough for a little car like this. A lot of bumps, a lot of potholes, a lot of steep little banks and turns. But the Range Rover Evoque made it. It's a very good off-road car. It's a very good town car. It's very nice to drive on back roads. It's very nice to drive on little off-road environments like this. It's certainly a very capable car. It's well priced, got a good strong 2-litre diesel engine. In short, I think the Range Rover Evoque is certainly a proper Range Rover.